Hey, guys. So this week we're talking all about the I don't give a fuck energy. We're going to talk about the 3 spiritual principles that are attached to this energy and the 3 keys to embodying this energy yourself in your business, and how the nervous system is one of the key factors in making it work for you. All right, guys, let's jump right in. So the I don't give a fuck energy is one of the most important things to be able to embody to be successful in your business. The I don't give a fuck energy comes in 2 different flavors. One of them reveals that you may have chronic stress and trauma. The other one really shows that you've really been able to embody this in a way that is really useful, highly functioning, and really like such a great tool for you in your business. So the first one is when we come from this I don't give a fuck energy in the flavor of rebellion, in the flavor of fighting, right? I don't give a fuck. You're just fighting back to the world, and I don't care what you think about me, and I don't have to do it this way. The thing is, rebellion is always a reaction. It's not a response. It's not a grounded response where we're going, this is how I choose to respond to a situation. It's a reaction to something that we feel as though is attacking us. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the nervous system and the subconscious mind a lot, but think about it. If we think something's attacking us, what are we in? We're in our fight or flight response to stress. We're in our fight or flight response sometimes to past traumas that we've experienced that have put us into a state of needing to rebel against something in order to feel strong. So this fight or flight response ends up putting us into a tighter state of stress. Our body gets stressed. I mean, think about the action in your body when you gear up to fight. You can feel that tension in your shoulders crunch up. You can feel it in your gut. You can feel it in your abs. That is then your body is going to be giving your brain signals that whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you are thinking about or approaching with this rebellion and fight energy isn't safe. And it's not going to want more of that. It's not going to want more than that because it's coming from a stressful place. It's coming from that stress response, that fight or flight response, and potentially a trauma response because you learned that you had to always fight for what it is that you wanted when you were younger or when you were growing up or in school or wherever that may have occurred for you. So that's the one flavor that the I don't give a fuck energy can come in. The second flavor, however, is the true feeling of detachment from the outcome, this feeling of detachment from other people's opinions, this feeling of radical acceptance and surrender, this feeling of no matter what happens, I'm okay. It's not that I don't give a fuck because I have to fight you. It's that I don't give a fuck because I know everything is always copacetic. I know that everything is always groovy. I know that everything is always taken care of. And I know that everything is happening as an opportunity for me to achieve my next level. I know that this perfect path is being laid out in front of me and before me, even if it feels uncomfortable right now. I trust the process. I believe in myself. I believe my goals will manifest. I believe all of this stuff. I have full out confidence and self-trust. That's the second flavor of I don't give a fuck energy. Now, can you feel the difference? Can you feel the difference? Now, one of these is one of the keys to manifesting in less time, to bringing in what you want into your life, and to not feeling stuck. And the other one is something that happens when we end up perpetually feeling stuck at the same income level, hitting our head against our income ceiling, having inconsistent income months, having difficulty manifesting what we want in our lives, all of that stuff. Can you tell which is which? Obviously, it's pretty obvious. The one where we're coming from that fight, that trauma response, that stress response, that fight or flight, the rebellion, the screw you, I'll do it my way. That way a lot of us have experienced. That's the thing that will slow all of this down and make it more difficult. That's the thing that will kick those subconscious factors into hyperdrive that end up throwing on the handbrake in our business, throwing on the handbrake in our income, throwing on the handbrake in whatever it is that we want to manifest in our life. The other one, the feeling of detachment and surrender and receiving and radical acceptance, all of this beautiful I believe and I trust energy, but I don't give a fuck about, I don't have to let the world dictate how I feel about myself or dictate how I feel in this moment because I just can trust it That's the one that makes manifestation easier. That's the one that makes bringing everything that we want into our lives and businesses so much easier. So, like I said, one of them reveals chronic stress. One of them reveals potential trauma underneath the surface. And the other one tells you that you're in that 8-figure CEO mindset, that empowered CEO mindset that I like to talk to you guys about so much, that is available to you when you work on shifting your relationship with ease, when you work on really feeling juiced up and beautiful and relaxed in your body and shift your relationship with ease and with your mindset about being empowered to be in your leadership. And when you feel as though running your business and manifesting what you desire can be playful, fun, easy, and simple. All right. So the thing that's important is that, so like I said, there's 3 spiritual principles that the I don't give a fuck energy is attached to. And we've already touched on these. The first one is surrender. Surrender is all about trusting the process. It's feeling that deep down feeling of belief that this can happen for me. It's this feeling of confidence that it's inevitable. It's this feeling every single day that I can stand here in the power of knowing that I'm on the right path, even if the path is a little bumpy and is a little bit confusing or not clear at the moment. The second spiritual principle that this is related to is receiving. In law of attraction and manifestation, we talk a lot about receiving. Receiving is this idea that you don't have to go it alone, that you are so epically supported and you are so epically, you know what I mean, backed by the universe. People are there willing to help you. You have support in your life. The problem is when it comes to receiving, so many of us have learned due to chronic stress and trauma that we don't have support. We didn't have support growing up. So we tend to crunch in and not feel as though we can be supported and receive from other people or receive from the universe. And instead, we feel as though we have to push and hustle and make it all happen on our own. And it's all a big burden. So the second concept here in this I don't give a fuck energy is receiving and feeling like I get to have support. I don't have to go it all alone. The third piece here is detachment or non-attachment. This is the idea of releasing the attachment to it has to look a certain way. It has to be a certain way. I have to know exactly how it's going to happen. This is a sense you can feel it. That's a sense of constriction. That's a sense of control. That's a sense of tightness around the ideas that I have to know everything, otherwise it won't work out. That comes from a chronic sense of insecurity. That comes from a chronic sense of I can't trust. I can't trust other people, but I can't even trust myself. When we always have plan B, C, D, E, F, G, what we're saying to ourselves is, I don't have trust that I can figure out a way to make A work. I don't have trust that I can even figure out a way to make B work. So I'm going to have so many contingency plans because I don't trust that this will happen for me. When we don't trust that then something's going to happen for us, guess what happens? Nothing. The thing doesn't actually happen. It doesn't come into our life. So we need to have a detachment from not only the outcome, but from it happening a certain way and from it unfolding a certain way and from it really looking a certain way. A way I like to talk about this is when I talk to some of my clients about manifesting and let's say they want to manifest a partner. And we talk about, well, what is it that you really, you want to create that vision. You want to make it as alive as possible and you really want to see it. But what is it that's actually really important? Is it important that they treat you well, or is it important that they're 6 foot tall and have blue eyes? Are you saying you would kick the guy out of bed who has brown eyes, but happens to meet every other criteria you have? Well, this is that non-attachment to it being so specifically, exact how we have said it has to be, and saying when it feels great, then I know that I've come to this place where it's exactly what I need and what I want. It's like the Rolling Stones song. You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need, right? Beautiful. I mean, the universe is bringing these things to us. Again, we're going back to this receiving. We're being epically supported with these opportunities. And so really coming from, I'm going to mention a fourth spiritual practice here. I know I said 3, but I'm going to mention a fourth, this sense of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance of trusting the process, that the process doesn't always look how we want it. The process can be bumpy sometimes. The process can sometimes take longer than we want. But we can radically accept, not approve of, but accept that this is the way it's going. which means we're not fighting it. We're not going into that fight or flight energy. Receiving, radically accepting that we can receive support from the universe, from other people, all of those things, and we don't have to go it alone. And radically accepting that it's not always going to look exactly how we think. It's not always going to be on an exact same timelines that we want it to be. And it's not always going to take the road that we think it's going to take. And so accepting that so that we can feel detached, because that detachment is really essentially that I don't give a fuck energy that we're here talking about today. So what are the 3 keys to embodying this I don't give a fuck energy for yourself, in your business, in your life, in your manifestations? What are the 3 keys? The first one is really embracing both ends of the spectrum. It's embracing this I don't give a fuck energy and the caring deeply. A lot of people really mistake that the I don't give a fuck energy is all about, I don't care. I don't care about anything. I don't care about whatever, blah, 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 blah. You know, what other people think or what anybody says or da, 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 da. The thing is, whenever we go to an either or in our heads, either it's all this or it's all that, we are basically leading ourselves down the wrong path. We need to embrace both ends of the spectrum to understand that there's a duality in a lot of these things, that we can actually care deeply about the opinions of our mother, let's say, and I cannot give a fuck and allow it to impact me in my business. I can say, Mother, I respect you, and I respect that you have this opinion that I should stay in my job as a nurse, and I'm going to go and start my business anyway. Because as much as I love you and I respect your opinion, I don't have to actually let it impact me. And I don't actually have to allow it to impact my choices and my decisions and my path that I'm choosing to take in my life. But when we have this feeling that I have to go with one or the other, either I have to care about what she says and do what she says, or I get to do what I want and not give a, rat's ass about what she thinks. What we're doing is we're then making those 2 things compete. And by making those 2 things compete, what we're doing is we're creating an internal conflict, an internal subconscious conflict where we're choosing between our business and our mother. Guess who's going to win? Hopefully mom's going to win because you love your mom, but then you don't get your business. So this is why we have to embrace both ends of the spectrum and say we can have both. We can care deeply and we can do what we want. Forge our own path and not give a fuck and choose ourselves and choose what it is that nourishes us. The second thing that's really important, a really big key to embody this I don't give a fuck energy with the good one, that empowered CEO mindset that we're talking about here, is knowing that you're good enough and knowing that you're worthy no matter what happens. No matter whether your manifestations are there yet, or if they're taking a little bit longer, or if you feel like things are challenging at the moment, or if you feel like things are great, feeling this overflowing sense of self-belief, self-trust, all of these things that really oozes with that worthiness, really oozes with that enoughness, whether or not other people are liking you, whether or not, you feel as though, like I said, things are bumpy, etc. Because at the core, what this is, embodying this sense of worthiness and enoughness, this is when you feel true security. This is when you feel true groundedness. This is when you open up and your nervous system relaxes. Because when we make things mean that we are not worthy or enough, like our manifestation is happening long, it's taking longer than we expect, or our income month isn't what we wanted to, or we didn't earn the income we wanted this month, and we take it to mean we're not worthy or enough, what happens is then we create that sense of stress inside of ourselves. Our limiting beliefs kick up, our emotions start to, sabotage us. They start to pull us down. We go into that fight or flight response. We go into self-protection and we shut down. And so then we shut down our opportunities to welcome in more. And so we have to embody that sense of worthiness and self-trust at all times. And then the third piece here, the third key to really, really embodying this in your body, in your life, in your manifestations is respecting the sonic boom. The sonic boom is the fact that your manifestations, the things that you're creating, do not happen instantaneously. There's usually always a time gap between what we're doing as in infusing ourselves with that self-belief, self-trust, confidence, self-worth, enoughness, and seeing those things manifest in our lives. Just like an airplane. The airplane goes, the sonic boom you hear after the fact, right? You see the ripple after the boat takes off. Another example of this is an Amazon package. We don't go there, order an Amazon something on Amazon, and then look out our window and go, why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it here yet? I better go order another one. I better go order another one. No, we go, oh, just ordered an Amazon package. I'm going to go make myself a sandwich or whatever. And we relax. And we're not in this state of constant doubt or fear that it's not going to be delivered. This is the way that we need to approach what it is that we're doing and being in terms of our business, in terms of our manifestations, in terms of everything that we desire, in terms of this I don't give a fuck energy, is realizing that we put in our order, we put in our actions, and they pay out dividends in the next week, in the next day, in the next month. And that when we're not seeing them immediately, it doesn't mean anything about us. It doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means that we're in the middle. It's so many of us get wobbly in the middle. This is where we lose faith. This is where we start to feel as though something's wrong with me or something's wrong with the process or manifestation is hard because we can't stay on top. We can't stay in that energy of expectation, stay in that energy of belief, stay in that energy of, woo boys, let's do this. That excited energy, which is where it all comes from, that relaxed excitement that we're talking about, which is where we're in that beautiful, I don't give a fuck energy where it's like, I know I can create anything and I don't have to give a fuck whether it's here or not because I get to feel good here, now, today, right this instant, and I don't have to wait for that to come because I know it's coming. I know it's coming. This is when we're in that juicy ground where you plant a seed and it's growing. A seed is another great example. You don't plant a seed and it goes, here's a tomato. No, the tomato takes months to grow. Even just the sprout out of the ground takes weeks before you see anything. Yet we don't go in there and dig out the frickin' seed and go, what are you doing in there? Are you ever coming up? No, because then it would like reset the whole process again. And we need to come from that energy as well, where we enter into this sense every single day that this is what I get. This is what I get to create. We come from that sense of play, pleasure, fun, and delight that I talk so much about when it comes to creating our business, when it comes to creating more income, when it comes to manifesting our desires. Open nervous system. And then we're in that beautiful, generative, I don't give a fuck energy that will help our businesses, help our lives, help our manifestations, instead of that chronic fight or flight response where we feel like we have to go it alone. We have to fight for everything that we have. Now, hopefully this has helped you a great deal to understand how to radically speed up and revolutionize your manifestations and your desires into reality. All right. I can't wait to see you again soon.